Yo, what's going on, everybody? You back on the rail. Curdy Bird.
What's up with you? Been a while. What's up, BH Big?
Yeah, it's definitely been a minute, man.
Yeah.
Look, Mother Nature has messed with your boys a little bit. You know, we getting over colds. We got this. We getting
there in
you start getting a little older, man. That February and March coming start to fuck with you a little bit. And the bug got us and kept nipping us in the ass. So we better. We back. We coming at you every week the rest of this motherfucking year. Get ready. And we starting this bad boy off. Curdy Bird, take it away, my man.
You already know this is a very, very special guest today. No lie. Man, taught both of us boys a lot about life. Well, men now got us here. No lie, always had a thing. But if you don't know, you better know. This is one of the best men, one of the best coaches, one of the best leaders, one of the best teachers that in anybody's life. And I know it's not just me. There's so many that he done nurtured. There's been some greats that went off and did great things.
Oh, they still
but you already know, a part of one of the dopest records in the history of this country. You understand? Was there, pioneered that there, you understand? But no more need to be said. Coach Timmy Bukowski, how we doing,
Thanks,
bro?
We're good, doing great.
Man.
Great to see you guys.
Absolutely.
What an introduction, I tell you.
Man, way.
Truly, know these men over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
This is what coaching's all about right here. Honestly, I mean, the relationships is the biggest part of it, and that's what keeps bringing me back, 34 years later. And
amazing.
Just, the relationships with people like yourselves, and they never end. A player can call you at any time in their life, or vice versa, and you're always going to be there for each other. And it means a lot to be here. I watch the show and enjoy it, and I look forward to some conversation. I'm sure we might talk a little bit about some football.
You already know.
Yeah, listen, because just to say that right there, you said you've known us over. This dude has literally known us before puberty hit us.
Yes.
This man hit us.
Yeah, no lie, and that's literal.
Hey, that's literal shit for your ass.
Hey.
Him and Jason Minetti, who still lives by, owns a bar close by. Shout out to the trail side, man. If you're around, get to the trail side. They got great food, man, and a great dude owns it. But those two coached us, man, and and they were our junior high coaches.
And we always say this: we're from Manessa, man, it's different. And this is why. I'm sitting right next to one of the biggest reasons why. No matter what it is, man, like, you guys were the reason we didn't see the color shit, bro. Like, you understand? Like, this man it's the beginning of you understanding what a man's going to be. And that's the time of the life that we spent with you. You understand that transfer.
You know what else is crazy, too, is the fact that, we talk a lot about, what are, the OGs and what are we doing for the youth these days? This man has literally been through, he's been before, he coached kids before kids had cell phones and NIL deals, and he's been in his game. He's gone through the transition. He started out, he was a junior high coach, head coach, killing it, doing different things, and then unfortunately his alma mater, we could talk about this shit, he got dissed, man. He got put on the back burner for other people. It is what it is. That's the history. But
hey, you could call it the back burner, but he jumped up in the oven.
I was gonna say, and that's what I'm saying. This man, he went on and just did great things that y'all gonna hear about, and is still doing today, as you said, 34 years after he started coaching. All the bullshit he's been through, and he has literally become one of the best coaches and best offensive-minded football coaches in Western Pennsylvania.
History. We're not just talking about right now. This is history. And you're still out here doing it.
Still.
But you're here now, and this is probably one of the first questions I got to ask you. Where do that come from? Because you instill it, you don't just have it, you make sure that everybody else get it too that's around you. Why do you persevere, and why does it seem like everything around you persevere?
Well, a lot of it I truly believe goes back to those Monessen days. Growing up, in that community and learning how to deal with everybody. I didn't grow up obviously in a lily white community, but we were mixed.
Wow.
And to this day, I get along. I mean, I don't even want to say maybe a little better with the black guy, than I do the white. But I mean, you mentioned the junior high days. That's where it all started. I actually, believe it or not, right out of college, my first year, and Mr. Marino and Coach Salvino asked me to coach hoops. So before I even started I was going to coach basketball, and then Coach Scarvell had an opening at the junior high. And I figured, well, let's do both. Right? I'm young, so let's try it. And so I did that, for a while. But, the first junior high season, undefeated, 6-0. I didn't know anything. I had the Menneson players. Yeah. We beat everything. Second year, we're 5-0. Go to the last game and lost my first game up at Best Center. I'll never forget it. They had a running back, Keith Miller, who was very good. And they beat us. But I mean, persevere. I mean, you have to grow as a coach throughout the years. Yeah. Like, when I think back, and we talked about a little bit earlier, offensively is where I've always focused, and just I still learn to this day. Like every day, I'm studying what I'm going to do for this next season.
Right.
Like there's things going to change, because of personnel or whatever. And we mentioned it earlier. I just wish I could go back and coach those Menneson teams with what I know now. Mm-hmm. And I know it's a cliche, but I mean, things would be different. We had
a cliche, but we was talking about, like you said, people. If you know about football, we had more talent than you know what to do with. We ran a straight T offense. Yeah. That is 5 linemen with 2 tight ends, for those that don't know, a quarterback and 3 running backs. I mean, that's what it was when we ran 7 plays.
Fortunately, we were good at it.
Yeah. And we said that too. It's because we played against down competition, and as men, we can all accept that. And it's something that we know. And if we would have been up against harder competition, it would have forced us to work harder. And once again, I believe we would have persevered.
Ain't no doubt, because listen, every year that we played, every year that we were involved in a championship run or had an opportunity.
Yeah, we were. I mean, as far as the Tri-County, I know I coached in 8 years. We were champs 7 years and co-champs 1 year, and that was with West Green. We tied 20-20.
Rodney Wilson, that son of a bitch.
I mean, now I look at it and you see that other teams are confident how they can actually compete or beat Menneson. Well, back then that didn't happen. I mean, we beat them. They were hoping we'd get out there alive.
Sheer reputations was a lot back then.
We walked on the field; it was a 2-touchdown deficit for them.
Automatically. Yeah. Well, you had another great stint though with Clarendon after Menneson did what they did to you and messed up what we should have had.
Well, you had Menneson, and then you went to Charleroi. You went to places, didn't you?
Yeah, went to Charleroi.
Where did your career take you in coaching, bro?
Well, I mean, I had 5 high schools now, but. Menneson, then I went to Charleroi, just because I was getting offensive opportunities, and literally,
that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, straight T. I mean, it was good in its day, honestly, and Menneson obviously, was very successful. But I wanted to learn more, so even going to an I formation at Charleroi was like a big deal at the time.
Yeah, right.
And they gave me the opportunity to run the show. So
which is what you needed.
Yeah, I just lost a great friend of mine, Coach Dumb. Jared and those guys. I mean, they. He was the first guy to say, "Here, Tim, it's yours." And I remember the first game I was ever offensive coordinator was against Menneson. And we won 26-6, threw for 258 yards. and I thought, this is pretty cool. You can throw that ball in the air and people will score. So, there. And so I went to Cal U for a couple years, coached the running backs. And it was good. I just was so used to calling plays now and wanted to go. So out of all places, we're having an Easter egg hunt in our neighborhood. And Jim Ward, who's a scout with the Steelers now, was Clairton's defensive coach, said, "Coach, we know you like spread. We'd like to get you down here."
And we got all the talent in the world.
I'm like, I don't know, Jim. I was a riot down at Clairton when I was coaching Charleroi. Things got a little heated, and police and everything were involved. My wife said, she's like, "You sure you want to go to Clairton?" I said, "You know what? I think they got players." So people think Clairton was always this dominant force. All right, this was 2006. Prior to that, Clairton's last WPI was 1989. People think this was just they win it every year.
Like they was like Al Equipa.
Right. They were good.
Yes.
But the case was they hadn't won one since '89. So my first year there was 2006. We got some guys, Kevin Weatherspoon, Deontay Howard, great kids, great young men, great football players, great men to this day. And we went to Whitfield my first year. The previous year they were 4-5. Did not make the playoffs. So they're coming off a horrible season. I get to practice the first day, and I get in the locker room. I tell the coach, I said, I don't know how you ever lose. They're like, Coach, we didn't make the play. I said, I'm telling you, we're not going to lose. I could see these athletes that are just committed to football. And then obviously,
well, honestly,
it went from there.
From right there, though, and I'm going to ask you a question, but that right there, them years we're talking about, that's when I believe that you can see when people say the culture changed.
Yeah.
You understand that there was something, them kids bought into something. Yeah. They believe something. And
they believed it in him.
My kids have ties to Clarendon.
Yep.
And you understand, and like even that whole community bought into something. You understand, like.
And you was there how long, Tim?
So I coached there from 06 to 13 when Noah was a freshman.
Your son.
And that was the only time I didn't coach. Yeah, Cole and Noah.
You've been married alongside to a great lady.
Great lady. Laurel's very supportive. I mean, she
had to be with your goddamn schedule.
Yeah, football. But she knows I don't golf. I don't hang out in clubs. Like, that's what I do.
I think we're being too modest here. We're not going to sit here and talk about Clarendon. You're not going to talk about your time in Clarendon.
Yeah,
Tell them people what the hell y'all did.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
shout out to the Bears too.
Yes,
shout out to the Bears. I love those Bears.
Right.
I mean, great community.
Yes.
7 years.
Tough. I mean, let's put it this way: those kids wanted it more than you could. Any kids I've ever been around. And they were great kids, great young men.
Nice.
People don't realize, I brought Coach Dumb down with me for 2 years. And, he won his first state title, and he never lost a game, obviously, crying. And he just couldn't believe those kids. So, yeah, Tyler Boyd obviously comes along.
There you go, Tyler Boyd. This man, it was his pride and joy playing for them Cincinnati bungholes.
He's a bungle.
Hopefully not much longer.
Might not. Yeah.
For the people who do not know this man, who don't know him, like he's soulful. You know what I mean? If he say something, it's coming from right inside there. You understand? And it comes out.
Yep.
The thing that I want to give you your flowers about, and I swear, as two grown men, the way that you handle a struggling, might not know what's going to happen the next day, might be here, might not be here, the way you handled us types.
Mm-hmm. The melanated people.
Hey, what you mean? You can't say that because it wasn't about melanated. There were some other struggling cats.
Ain't no doubt.
Jeffrey Griffiths.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? There's some other cats. Like, you just can't say that.
I was just wondering if that's where you was going.
No, we can. Because, shit, I'm pretty sure that the folks in Clarendon feel the same damn way.
Because
where
he's at now, that's why I brought up, that's why I thought that's where he was going.
Yeah.
This dude right now is literally coaching a team. We're going to talk about it, but he's coaching a team, y'all. And they out in the sticks, right? This is a place called the Southmont and Scotties.
The Scotties.
Yeah. But this place is not known to have a lot of melanated folks in the area. That's why I thought that's where you was going.
No,
we can get to that.
You could, but we just talking about the South Side. You're dope with the urban.
Well,
you're dope at urban. You know what I mean?
Quick thing, honestly, about Clarendon. And I tell people this all the time. When I first got there, every I think it was Tuesdays they had wing night, and I would take the kids over there, and I'd pick a handful each week. So I told my wife I came home the first time I ever took them. It was Weatherspoon, Dave Spence, Deontay Howard, and we're sitting down, and I order the wings, and I told my wife I was so embarrassed. She said, "What did they do?" I said, "Them." I said, the wings come, and I start diving in, and every one of those young men were over there praying before their meal. I said, people don't realize the spirituality in these Clareton players. I mean, you should have been in that locker room the way these kids would cry on senior night. They were all in. We'd drop them off. We'd take, Aaron Matthews played on my son Noah's AAU basketball team, and I'd take him to all the tournaments, and I'm bringing him home. He goes, drop me off the stadium, coach. It's midsummer. I'm like, where are you going to stadium for? We don't have anything. He goes, oh, no, we practice without you guys. I'm like, what? We practice our plays. You wonder why we win.
Great.
First of all, we know we got the athletes, right? Mm-hmm. We're loaded. But they got everything else to come along with it. The desire, the want. That's why we talk about our alma mater. Why aren't they doing what Clareton did? 66 straight wins, a state record, right? 4 state championships. People think it just came easy. Well, we lost the first
4
year.
straight.
We lost our first state. So, we lost the first state title to Stilton High Spire. They beat us. Loaded team. Jeremiah Young at the time was the all-time leading rusher in the history of the state of Pennsylvania. Jordan Hill played at Penn State for the Rams.
I watched that game.
Yeah, big team. We got beat. And so, we're coming off. This is how it all started. We're coming off of that loss. Tyler Boyd's coming into his freshman year, and Titus Howard. These guys are all Division I kids that end up at Pitt. Terrence Webb. We got great players. And we just lost the state. In the summer, it comes out. We're preseason number 1. So for the first time in my life, I truly felt a little pressure. All the coaches, I'm like, man, we're number 1 in the state. We got to win it next year. We got to. So here's what happens. We play first game of the year. We go up to Laurel, my wife's name, up to Laurel High School. We're number 1, and we get beat. We get beat by a touchdown. We had 2 called back. We didn't play well. You would have thought, you were at the biggest funeral you've ever seen. These kids are distraught. Number 1, and we get beat our first game.
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd, those freshmen, never ever lost another game in 4 years. They went 65-1. And so we learned from it, I guess.
I would say.
But
super learned. Harvard education learned.
And we had tough games. Rochester was the Kings at that time, and we overtook them and beat them in some close games down at it was Heinz Field then. But the state games, every team we played was bigger than us. Stronger. Physically, we probably didn't match up.
That's the truth.
But our kids defensively, we shut them out. We beat Southern Columbia. Nobody beats them, right? We beat them. Tyler Boyd made them look dumb. You know what I mean? He made a cut in the hole, and my older son Cole was with me at that game, sitting in the press box next to me. He made 1 cut in the hole. I looked at and said, he's gone. It was over.
High school.
It was over.
Yeah, he was nice.
So I was truly blessed to be around, you're as good as your Jimmys and Joes, right? I could put them in the right spot, but if they don't perform,
exactly.
So that's what matters.
The crazy thing that you were saying, man, about, these kids are from a community like where we come from, Monessen, man. It's a poor community. It's an underprivileged community. These kids don't even have bus transportation in their city to go to school. Like, they're getting Ubers and shit. Like, I'm picking up kids for school.
Yeah. This is a true story. That's honestly what I love about football.
And the crazy
shit right there, man.
But they had all that. You was talking about, their perseverance and everything they had, but they had the support from the grown men that were leading them, the people that were supposed to teach them not just about football, because y'all taught about football, but like you said earlier, this man taught us so much about life, man. Literally, I say we were very fortunate because I was able to spend from 7th grade to 12th grade and playing football for this man in one form or fashion.
Yeah,
that was a blessing for me because we had people like this, and this is what, if you want, like, our town. But I do want to say, before I get into this, real quick, I want to say something about 66 straight games, right?
Right.
But shout out Monessen Greyhounds. Because the Monessen Greyhounds is the one who stopped that streak.
What do you mean? They started it?
They started it. Just for the record, I was not coaching that year. They lost. No was playing. But anyway, Monessen had a really good team that year. And beat them at Clareton.
Talking about your son Noah. Your son Cole didn't play football.
Right.
Your son Noah played football. Talk about irony, guys, right, too? This man, like I said, from 7th to 12th grade coached me. Well, guess what? His son in 7th grade, I got to coach him.
Yeah.
I got to coach his son for 2 years, and we were just talking. I saw your son at the Mason Strong, the cancer event we went to a month or so ago, and his son came up to me. We dapped me up, and we literally spoke for 10 minutes, and I just told him how fucking pretty he is.
Looks like his
Noah,
mother.
shout out.
Look like his mother.
Takes out his mama.
Yeah, real, right.
Hey, but listen, Noah, shout out. You keep doing your thing, Cole, you too.
Yeah,
But,
good boy.
man,
I'm blessed.
Shout out to Mrs. Bukowski, 2 beautiful ass sons.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But
We know he had nothing to do with that.
Being a teacher, she got him on educationally. She set him the right way.
growing up, man, we of course, you know what I forgot to do, dog, right?
Yeah,
You know I forgot to start that.
Yeah, it's cool
goddamn
though.
time.
It don't matter. It don't matter. It's Coach Hunter.
It don't matter. But so you're coaching all these young men from 1990.
Yeah, 90. Yep, that was
You
my
started
first
in
year.
1990.
Yeah, right out of
So
college.
he's coaching all these young men from 1990 still to 2024, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your oldest didn't play sports. Your youngest gets into football, and he's a good player.
Yeah, he did really good for
He did
Belmont.
real well,
Yeah.
man. You kind of took a break
2 years, yeah. 2.5.
from high school football
Yeah.
to watch him play.
Yeah, and I have coaches to this day. A good friend of mine, his son was going to play for TJ a few years ago. And Mark Gambino, he called me up. Tim, what should I do? I said, Gam, there's no decision. You stop and you watch your son. And then you can always go back. They're always looking for coaches, And those were the greatest days. I mean, Noah was blessed. He was on a great team. He was an all-conference outside backer for 2 years and played on an undefeated conference champ. It's kind of started the Humbert role.
Right.
That was Matt's second year.
Yeah.
And they beat TJ in overtime and went undefeated 10-0 and lost in the semis to Franklin Regional at the time, playing their 5A. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have missed those days. We enjoyed them.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we
It is insane. Man. We got that elephant, man. We better leave that medicine alone.
Yeah, real well. I'm about to get off that medication. Go
No,
on.
the medicine's okay.
But you be forgetting shit. Your memory Jesus. And
Well,
you're
yeah.
old.
Yeah. I know. That's what's funny. I can't believe I'm the older coach now. I was always the young coach.
You was.
Now I'm the older coach, and it's fun being a head coach because to watch my staff, like we stuck together. Like, the only coach I lost was Coach John DeMarco, who coached with Mid Clairton. He was on my staff, and he took the EF job. So
Okay.
obviously, I mean, it's his hometown. I mean, I was very supportive.
Yeah,
he
hell,
did a
go
great
do
job
you.
in his first year, but my staff is stuck together, and we all get along. And I said it earlier, it's relationships, not only with the players, but you got your coaching
coaches.
staff. We love being around each other.
Okay,
our
there you
text
go.
is all year, every day. So for me, it's the relationships of coaching that have made it so important to me. When it's all said and done, I'm always going to remember those rings and 66 in a row and state titles that most people aren't lucky enough to be a part of. But the relationships will always be the number one thing.
Absolutely.
Things that you can do behind the scenes that people don't know.
Something like this 30 years later.
Right. I mean, I had a player 2 years ago who was from Southmoreland and moved to Baltimore. Mom moved down there, and they were moving back. Calls me because I don't know. I guess he didn't have anybody else to call, and Coach, we're trying to move back. I'm like, great. I mean, we'd love to have you. He goes, we can't get back though. What's wrong? Well, we can't move. So, we take care of the moving situation. We get them up here. Then they move into their place, and how's it going? Okay, the kid never says a word to me that they don't have a stitch of furniture in their apartment. Zero. No couch, no television, no bed. So I stop over one day and I walk in. I'm like, whoa. There's nothing here. These kids are sleeping on the floor. He has a younger brother as well, who's actually will be a sophomore for me this year.
Nice.
So we got the coaches together. Obviously, didn't mention any names to parents or whatever, but their house was fully furnished. We took care of everything. My trainers bring it over. dining room tables. My neighbor in Bell Vernon had a big sofa, a sectional that they were getting a new one. We hauled that out there. You know, I don't say that because I don't go out and blast that to people.
Because we've never heard it.
Right. But you two will understand that that's what a good coach should do for somebody
you go.
who needs help.
That's not even a good coach, man. That is just a good person. That is a community coming together right there.
We came together.
That's what that is.
And you know the funny thing is, that young man ended up not even ever playing for us because academically it was he got set behind.
Right.
But his younger brother's probably going to start this year at corner, and you know. You think that kid won't do anything for me?
He'll do anything for you.
You changed that family's life.
Right.
I remember.
That family's life.
I mean, I feel like, and I always say this: we were blessed because of men like you. Because even when I coached, do what your teachers did. You understand? And that's my thing. Yeah. I want you to have the confidence to bite a pipe. Yeah. You understand? And that's what y'all brought up. Hey, I'll break my neck, and I'm fine with it.
Right.
And I'm fine with it. And that's what it's about. And it's because of stuff like that. People don't just show up in what you would call the hood, come sit at your table, come talk to your folks right there, sit on the porch, sit out in the community. Yeah. You understand? In the unknown, you don't know what the hell's going to happen here. And just feel the part. Don't look out of place. That's what the hell we were blessed with. That's what you were. That's what you bring to the table. That's what you bring to any community. And I just told you do great in the urban community, but it's not just there because you're showing us right now.
Yeah, he was an urban kid.
Yeah, you understand?
We took care of it.
Yeah.
But you know what's even crazier is we said you took a break from football watching Noah, and then you were contemplating really not getting back into coaching.
Yeah, so it was.
Now you're at Southmoreland. How did you get to Southmoreland?
Tell the people.
Well, here's how it all started. I'm glad you asked that question.
Yes.
So I was out for a couple of years, and I said to myself, you know, I miss it. You know, it's time to get back. And I actually talked with Elizabeth Forward, and at the time he had an offensive guy and wanted me to coach the line, and I thought about it. And then a friend of mine, Nick Milkovich over at Ringgold, where my wife teaches, had an opening for an OC, and I was kind of like the co-OC my first year with Guy and helped call the plays, and then second year I was the OC. But you know, we took Ringgold to the semifinals.
That's crazy.
2016, we beat Newcastle in the regular season at their place, lost in the semis to Newcastle, where we would play TJ for the WPIAL title. My second year there, and then my third year there, I became friends with Ron Frederick. He was my offensive line coach. Ron played at Tulsa, and then he transferred. I actually coached at KLU when he was there. Big guy, great person. We became really close. He's the guy, when you texted him, the bubbles are already coming back before you finish. I tell everybody, if my life was online, they said, you got to text somebody that's going to text you back in 30 seconds or you're in trouble, it'd be Ron, you know? So Ron wanted to be the Southmoreland coach. He was from Southmoreland. He grew up there. It was, you know, he played for Tulsa. His brother was a lineman and played for Pitt. And Ron was going for the job, and he didn't get it. So they hired a teacher, Dave Kiefer, who has become a great friend of mine. So Keefe was the coach for 4 years, and I was the OC for Dave. And Ron was the line coach. Before I got there, this is the truth. I said, I got to watch some film. And I put the Southmoreland film in off a huddle, and I called Ron. I said, Ron, I don't think we should go to Southmoreland. And he's like, are you serious? I said, no. I mean, I'm telling you, Ron,
it's bad.
They're bad.
Yeah.
Like the quarterback would get the ball, and there'd be 4 guys on him, not one. Mount Pleasant, the film I watched, Mount Pleasant beat them 67-14. Last game of the year, they had like 15 kids left on the sideline. I mean, it was just in bad shape. But Coach Kiefer was the teacher, and he was able to, you know, kind of rally the troops a little bit. And, you know, 9 months later, we beat Mount Pleasant. But so Ron was the main reason I went there. So we go 4 years, and they hadn't made the playoffs since 1979. So we know Russ Grimm.
The year I was born.
Russ Grimm was a senior and went on to be a Hall of Fame offensive lineman for Washington Redskins. Mm-hmm. So that's the last time they had made the playoffs. So, you know, this is going from state championships to a team that traditionally wins 1 or 2 games, sometimes none.
Right.
So we built it to, we're 500 for like 4 years. We're in the playoffs because 4 teams make the playoffs. So we got in twice with Coach Kiefer. And so I saw, progress coming along. And then Coach Kiefer was going to retire from coaching. He's still teaching, but wanted to get out of coaching. And so Ron is all set. This is his time. He's finally, after interviewing there a couple of times, he's set to become the coach of the Scotties. This is his lifelong dream. He, he has 3 little kids. They're coming through, 2 boys and a girl. On Tuesday, we're in the weight room. Ron had his interview. He puts his suit on. He's heading over to meet with the school. He calls me that night. It's a done deal. They're voting Thursday. I got the job. I'm like, that's great. I'm here for you. We're going to get this thing done. We're taking from making the playoffs, so we're going to start winning playoffs.
Yeah.
Thursday morning, my phone rings at 6 a.m, and it's Ron's wife. It's probably one of the toughest days of my life. I mean, we're boys, and Ron passed away overnight. So, this was a stunner. To this day, it brings tears to my eye because he got 3 babies.
Yeah.
And we were close, and it was brutal for the community, the team, and so we miss him to this day. We got a big plaque inside the locker room that we touch every time we come out on the field, and we have a O-line camp every summer. Coach Fred, he's a special person to the community, but selfishly to me, we were very close.
Right.
So I miss him, and to honor Ron, who else is going to take the job, right? And that's what the team wanted, and of course, that's how it all started. And now I've been there 2 years as the head coach, 2 playoffs, but we haven't won one yet.
Not yet.
So
It's
this
coming.
is the year.
Yeah,
we're going to get it done because we played some good teams. It's hard to believe we're a AAA team. We're playing Bell Vernon, so we're finishing 3rd or 4th in the conference.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So you're playing a tough round one. A couple years ago we played West Mifflin. We scored 28 points. First time Southmoreland scoring points in the playoffs, but they scored 50. So we got beat. We're getting closer to that win. So we're looking forward to this year and what we got coming back and
the fact that they got you leading them, man. Dog, that is an amazing thing.
It's amazing.
And I'm gonna tell you right now that you've told me that story before about exactly how you told me. The Tuesday, you told me the time, you told me everything. I've heard this story like twice.
Yeah.
And first of all, we said it before too, man. We were talking about this earlier, guys. We told you where this man's from, Monessen. He went to Clairton. He's been to several. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where he goes. He fits in like a motherfucking plug. It's that easy. You just plug. That's how he fits in. And then we was talking about it earlier. You got some difference makers that might be coming in.
It's they've always had a co-op with Geibel, who used to be our rival.
Yeah.
Had football. Yeah. I remember Jamie Reeder scoring on the last play of the game.
I was there.
To beat Geibel had good football back then. And then
Zero smash.
Yes. He's exactly right. Right up the middle. Right up the middle. Coach Scarbo, give him the ball.
Run it again.
And he scored on the last play. But they don't have football anymore, so even before I got to Southmoreland, they co-opted with Geibel. And I always got 5 or 6 players. And, some were okay,
Right.
In my first couple years there, we had 5 or 6 guys. But it'd be their whole hoop team.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I'll mostly buy guys, but hoop was their sport.
Right.
Well, things have changed.
Yeah, the Scotties is in the playoffs.
Scotties are starting to win. And the other thing, too, is, it's I got to keep a happy medium because I don't want to upset Southmoreland people.
Yeah.
And I don't go out and ask kids to come to us.
No, but they want to come coach for a person like you because your
Who
track record
it speaks for itself.
And what you've done, the story you just told of why you're sitting in the position you are right now as the head coach of the Southmoreland Scotties.
Right.
Is because that's why a motherfucker want to come play for you. That's why people like us that are 40 in our mid-40s will still go through doors for a dude like you.
Well, and we know still. Hey, and we still know it's there. Hey, you people in Southmoreland, y'all been patient. He's here. He's a legend. Just work with them, believe in them.
And it sounds like they do.
They've been great. The community's been
Yes,
great.
believe
Sports
here.
been great. So these kids, what also happened down there is, Connellsville, Uniontown, Elbert Gallatin, all left the WPIAL. So as a parent, you're playing 10 exhibition games if you play for those. So a few of those kids have gone to Gobble to play in the WPIAL.
Right.
And they're also on some of our younger guys 7-on-7 teams.
Yeah,
and they've clicked,
relationships.
and they want to play. So
yeah.
we get a little spurt from them, but most of the kids we have are Southmoreland guys,
Right.
and now football is important.
Right.
It's important.
And that goes for anybody out there in them areas that don't play in your body, that Southmoreland area. You want your kid to play for a knowledgeable coach, a good coach, a man that's going to stand behind your kid. It's right there.
A man that's going to
It's
teach
right
you
there.
more about than just football too.
Exactly.
You're going to learn more than football from this.
He's
guy.
gonna be
this is y'all just heard, like, this man from his own mouth has just given you at least 3 examples that you could look back on and say, oh, this is what a good person does. He helped organize to get some people back here, to get their house furnished. I mean, took a position.
And that's not the first time he did some shit
of
like
course.
that.
That's the only one time his modest ass is going to say something about it.
Right. You see, the man got a national record under his belt. And he really just downplayed the
He
shit out of
definitely downplayed it.
Good players. And obviously, just learning, always being a student of the game. Like, I've grown every year, not just from relationships, because those are so important, and those come easy to me. Like, it's easy for me to talk to people. I'm in sales, and just getting along with whoever. I mean, I can talk to the best player on the team, to the guy who's last, because that brings me to a kid I have this year who's going to be a Division I football player. He's getting looked at by a lot of Patriot League schools, some Ivy League schools. When this guy was a freshman, I got coaches that will tell you he was the worst football player on our team. Like, this kid's probably going to be on a team for 4 years and never play.
And now
that's the shit that make you.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's the shit.
Never
that
give
make
up
you
on a kid.
That's why you do it.
You don't know. He's now 6'3", 210 pounds, and pretty much unblockable coming off the edge. He's relentless in the weight room.
How do you feel knowing that you coach a kid like Tyler Boyd and getting to see that on Sundays?
Well, very few make it that far.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jamie Reeder. Jamie
absolutely.
went from the XFL to the NFL.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, there've been kids that probably could have made it if they stayed straight, maybe had an opportunity. But Tyler was just different. Like, when he was a sophomore in high school, we knew.
Yeah, I think we all did.
We knew. Our coach went to. Coach Nola was the head coach. He went.
Shout out Coach Nola.
Great guy. He still calls me every Friday. Like, again, relationship.
Right.
He's retired in Florida half the year, but we talk. He came to 2 of my games last year. So it's just great. But he was Steeler Coach of the Week 1 week. He goes to the Steeler practice. He comes back. He goes to our coaches, and Coach Nola was a funny guy.
Yeah.
He goes, you guys, you ain't gonna believe this. He said, right now, Tyler Boyd's the Steelers' second best receiver. He was in 10th grade. I said, no, seriously, Coach. You think he can play for them? He goes, I'm telling you, Coach, he's their second best guy right now. But, Tyler, he played, senior year. Barely played in the second half of most games.
And right, y'all was
had 51 touchdowns. 51.
And they were
barely played in the second
They
half.
were depleting boys.
Yeah, I mean, teams that made them, would make a mistake to come out to midfield and kind of
try to
woof on us a little bit.
Yeah, bad move.
What are you doing?
I'm not gonna lie. I saw a few of them games.
You just poking the bear, boy.
If you kicked it to them, they snatched your heart.
Yeah.
If you didn't, they kicked it to you. They snatched your heart.
And things you didn't coach. Peel back blocks on punt returns. I mean, I saw a play where 5 players got injured for Sarah Catholic. I mean, because legal hits at the time.
Yes, you're allowed to do that.
I mean, I've seen Tyler catch a punt, go 2 steps this way, which you don't teach. He reverses the field, and our other guy just hits a guy in a playoff game. And Noah talks about it to this day. Flipped the kid when he hit him so hard, and Tyler scores. So they had that natural instinct that you just don't teach, And again, he dominated high school, dominated the Big 33.
Yeah,
dominated Pitt, and then he's been a solid professional.
Absolutely.
And he's done the right things, for his family.
And
he took care
Steelers,
of his
please
mom.
pick him up. Jesus, will you pick this boy
for
up?
real.
Bring his
Hey, and
ass home.
his mom still does a hell of good work.
She does.
Yes,
She does.
Yes, she does.
Runs
She's
that
out
midget
there.
league.
Shout out to her.
And
Yeah.
Tyler has done a lot to support that, and
Yeah,
he doesn't go out
absolutely.
and ask for,
Absolutely.
And he's not out here showing what he's doing
Doing
on
right,
social
social
media.
media, no, he's
look at me. Look, he's
Always
just out
been
there
a
doing
humble
it.
kid. Man.
Yeah, he-
I
Always.
remember you brought him to Noah's practice. You brought him and three of the other young men.
Yeah,
and I got to meet Tyler when he was a senior in high school, and all four of these brothers that you had with him was all respectful as hell.
Here I come
Talked
into
to
Ross
all these-
Draver. We
and
might not
yeah.
have 4 black kids on all the teams.
on all the teams at Ross Draver, especially at that time.
Yeah.
And
At
they
that time,
come,
yeah.
and all these young boys are going up talking to him, Bertie. One of the greatest experiences, one of my great experiences from coaching.
Trenton Coles was one of those young men.
Yeah.
Trenton won the 100
100
meter dash
Yeah.
and 200 for the Whitfield. I remember all our little guys wanted to race him. Trent was running around with all these little guys
Yep.
chasing him.
It was just one of the most beautiful things you could see. And me at that time, I would, that was 2012,
Yeah, 12.
11, 12?
11, 12-ish. Yeah.
So I'd only been back home for like 7 years, and it was just a different time in Roster. You was talking about peel back blocks.
Yes.
Can I really? And I know you said there was some crazy shit you saw in Clarion, but I want to shout out to the best peel back blocker I've ever seen in my life. He used to do it, especially my senior year. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Big Hoots.
Yeah.
When we talked about 66 wins, right? My mind goes to Hoots.
Yeah,
that was his
66,
number.
yeah.
And that
good.
brother, what I'm telling you, I played that left tackle, you played the right end next to him. And he was the right tackle, and you'd be blocking on that, and the next thing you know, Hoots come across the field, and somebody's helmet's sitting
You don't
over
remember?
him.
They used to put him in motion.
Yeah.
They used to have tackle motion. That big ass load coming full speed, like
Yes.
like whose
Yes.
idea was this?
So I'm going to say Hoots shout out, because that was the best cat I
Dog,
ever
he used
saw.
to dog. He used to demolish boys. I remember we go up Kyle, and we're. you know what I mean? Like,
You're the young guy.
yeah, you understand? Well, they're prop 48. Him, PJ, and J Boy, they're all three. They're prop 48. So I'm on defense. We're both on defense. So Hoots had to be on the scout team against the first offense. You just hear him. Who's this 66? He's destroying y'all. Get down. Give me push up. I'm like, what the hell? He did it again. But I'm like, what the hell?
As
Like,
a
Hoots,
freshman.
man.
He was one of them dudes you talk about. You never know. Like, he's another one of them cats you talk. You never know if there's how many guys from Menneson could you even imagine?
You remember you were talking about lifting weights? Here go where it got embarrassing. All of us, except for Jammer and J-Boy, they naturally strong ass kids. But me and Hoots were the bigger one.
Right.
We go in there, they test you. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I see little ass dudes putting 2 1/4 on that drink, man. Let me try that. I'm like, damn, Hoots get under there. Gagoon. But what went through my mind was, how are you pushing these big ass men around, but we can't push these damn weights up off of our chest?
That natural stupid strength.
Dude, Hoots used to just throw folk. Like, I'm like, man, what are you thinking about out here sometimes? Like,
What a football player.
man, I love
But
him.
just like, couldn't you imagine? You brought something.
Yeah. It's 1995 program. These two guys are in there, but when I look at these names and these players in here, and the class before you, if we could go back right now with these guys, there was enough talent here. Coach Scarvell defensively was
a
genius.
absolute.
To this
stud.
day, he did some things that we would think, what is he doing? But
and it
he
worked.
shut you down.
Yeah.
Like, he was so good. And if I could be the offensive coordinator, Coach Scarvell be the defensive coordinator for this group and the group before, we'd have 2 Whitfield titles right now.
I totally believe that shit.
Because,
too.
No doubt.
Pat Green and those guys,
Oh my goodness.
Patrick Green went on to have a great career as a receiver,
Yeah.
right?
At
He's
West
a running
Virginia.
back at Menneson.
Yeah, right.
There was no wildcat. There
Nothing.
wasn't-
Right.
Like, we would have given him the ball multiple ways now.
Cam Madison could throw the ball 80 goddamn yards.
Oh, my God.
The dude had an arm, and then if he don't blow out his knee, he's the starting quarterback. My junior year,
What do you mean?
Like,
we probably win another.
That talent didn't stop. You had Jimmy Arnold as a slot, Pat Green,
Right.
spreading them out.
I know.
Big Brad Jones,
Jones,
the linebacker,
backer,
fullback.
right.
I mean, look at that line.
He
I
would
mean,
have. Big Brad would have been a tight end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brad
Brad would've
ended
been-
up moving to DN because
Yeah.
I went and played
Yeah.
middle backer.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you mentioned all. I mean, those are all. I mean,
Dog, crazy.
stud football players.
Studs. That's
unbelievable.
all the same class. That 95 class was ridiculous.
Yes. I mean, that class.
They were. Y'all see, he got this from Benesson, but everybody else that he got them for every team.
He does. He said this program's from 1995. He said I got every program.
Yeah, right. He got every one.
Oh yeah. You never forget where you came from. That's for sure. And I mean, honestly, I fell in love with coaching in Menneson. You know, like when I was in school, I'm telling you, my wife was going to be a teacher, which she's done for 30 years. But, you know, at the time to get a teaching job, and we both couldn't be teachers, you know.
Right.
I never even considered coaching in college. I had no clue.
Yeah.
Like to sit here 34 years later and say I've coached, I mean, it was never even on my radar.
Yeah, that's
That's
wild.
insane.
When
Yeah.
I did it that first year, because, you know, I think it clicks all back to, like, remember the T-ball days at Menneson, Mr. Galloway, you know, do or die. Like, I coached those teams when I was in high school. Like, my house I'm not a junk collector, but in the garage, I got a couple score sheets from the guys I coached, like
That's
Yeah.
Frankie
that's good.
Francia is on my team. Jimmy Burns, these guys. I'm looking at the lineup. Craig Hayward, all these guys I coached in baseball, and I'm thinking maybe that's where it started. I don't know. You know, I liked putting that lineup in and figuring out what was best, and
That's
you know, coaching in Menneson and just starting to get into it, and then you know, wanting to like. Probably the first 5 years, I was just kind of like, you know, the young guy who didn't really have much say so, and you know, didn't know that much, you know, like. But now, I mean, I feel like, you know, I can offensively, even at Southmoreland, the numbers we've put up the last 5 years are, you know, our quarterbacks and receivers. I mean, I've had the leading receiver twice in the Whitfield. One guy had 73
He
catches.
just don't stop.
But
You
I
don't.
mean, our quarterbacks are in the top 8 every year. This is the first year. This past year, and he was a 2-year starter. He was in the top 5 or 6 last year. He was in the top like 12 or 13 this year because I just had this running back that was
Right.
special.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you run a little more than usual. You know,
Heck yeah.
He's going to Cal to play. Scholarship guy, Dejon Craggett, came to us 1 year from GCC, and I mean he could have played for anybody. I coached Clairton, and I mean this kid, I actually thought should have went D1, but you know nowadays he might play 2 years at Cal if he does
He's
good.
gonna lead.
Yeah.
But so we ran the ball a little bit more. So you know, adjust to your talent, right?
Yes.
We're a little bit better running team. You know,
You always. It didn't matter. Hey, in junior high, you didn't mind switching shit. You ain't mind switching nothing up. I was switch it up, and that's what made you dope. Like you were so easy to play for. It was easy to just go out there. It's on the line, buddy. Hey, whatever happens, happens. You know, like.
And I think,
and I'm
you
pretty
were
sure
so
everyone
young
else.
coaching us too. Like you were only
Yeah.
what 10? Not even 10.
Well,
how old
yeah,
are you now?
I'm 56, so I
Oh, so
graduated
10 years,
85.
you 10 years older than
10
us,
years.
basically, but you were still so young that you know it clicked. But I mean, I literally can remember numerous times throughout, like I said, especially once we got into high school, and we got a little older and became young man who was doing young man things.
Right.
You was a good guy that a lot of advice.
He
was-
understood it all.
Yeah.
You understood every single last. Hey, that dude might not have. You know what I mean? Instead of him going home, let me do something to pep him up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and the shit goes so far because a lot of us didn't have it at home.
And,
You understand?
And
Like,
you know what? Once again, man. I mean, the bottom line is, I mean, first of all, we probably been running a while. Who knows? But I mean, the fact that we got all this and we were able to have you here is absolutely it's been an awesome thing to have you sit here and tell everybody exactly. If you wonder why we get some of our ideals from, is people like this man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I watch you guys, and I'm proud of you, what you do, and yeah, hopefully some young people out there listening to you guys and learning. things that you've learned from all your coaches and
Man,
teachers,
for-
and as a
Life
coach,
experiences.
as a coach,
It's
you
so
just- you just-
detrimental.
yeah,
Like,
you
people
wanna
not-
help people. I mean, the best thing you could ever get is a call around Christmas. Hey, coach, I just want to tell you, in 2005 when I was playing here, you were the only one who believed in me.
Man, that's crazy. Isn't it?
And it happened, and that's why you coach, and that's why I love it. That's why I still do it. Hopefully, I got some good years left.
Yes,
and,
you do. We know you do.
and
you
I
just
can touch
turned me
some
into
more
a
lives.
Southmoreland Scotties
I'm
fan.
gonna get you some gear. I gotta get you some gear.
already know we'll
yeah,
take the
yeah,
gear.
you
I'm
already
rocking.
know.
Hey, I'm taking the
Yeah,
sleeves
hell
right
yeah,
off, but I
real
rock
shit.
it.
It's not a Greyhound. It's not as fast. It's
Look,
a
man, I'm learning to be. I'm learning leopard's gear now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
my baby girl,
Catching
they
footballs
started
out
some
here.
flag football. Unfortunately, she broke her finger, but hey, they started a flag football league in the area because that shit's going to the Olympics.
It's getting
Baby,
big.
good luck on this season. I know as soon as you get in there, you're going to be killing it. Good luck to all the girls at Bell Vernon doing this flag football in the inaugural year of it. Maybe we get Timmy B in there to put some offense.
Well, I saw Bailey can catch, so
Way better than me.
we'll throw her the ball.
Right. There's a question. April must have gave her them hands.
Oh, well, look, man, my hands got better. But I know you remember. Let's say this one thing. I know you remember because me and Chad Giampedro and Mike Giampedro talk about it all the time. Our senior year, you're junior. We're beating the team pretty good, and I'm playing that end position.
All right.
And Brad's the long snapper, and we had this play designed. We had talked about it in school on that Friday. We said, look, if we get up pretty good, Brad's going to snap it directly to you, Mike. I'm going to beat you out. I'm going to be out. I'm out in the open. I'm in the end zone. Mike gets the ball. Beautiful snap from Brad. He tosses, and I'm like, oh, yeah, for the 2-point conversion. It hits my hand and falls to the ground. Hey, Mike was the kicker.
Yeah.
I was on kickoff. Chad and Brad had to go back, and they get to the sideline, and Scarvell said, hey, you motherfuckers, get out here. And me and Mike ran down the center of the field. What the
Stayed away
fuck
from
were
it.
you? You remember that?
Hey, yo.
Oh, my
You know
God.
what? I mean, you talk about relationships, Coach Scarvell, right?
Oh, my God. Another man that
We used to
he's
go
got
drinking.
hundreds of people that go drinking.
We'd be Thursday night. We were at the white bars, then we go to the black bars.
Hell yeah.
And Coach Scarvell took us in
I'm
everywhere
telling you.
and sit down. It was
I
like
am
nothing to
telling
be
you.
at any bar in town.
My
Having a drink on a
junior year
Thursday
at
night.
Scarvell, I'll never forget. I had a big black Cadillac, and Scarvell didn't have no license. He said, you gotta drive me to Duquesne. I'm 17 years old. Me and another guy get in my car with Coach Scarvell, and we drive to Duquesne. And where do we go? In the bar. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, and we're 17. We're in the bar with Coach Scarvell, and nobody says nothing. In the blackest bar there is.
No,
Coach
no,
got-
that was that
He
dude.
could get along with anybody.
Dudes
That was
like
that
that,
dude.
dudes like you, that's what made, and being a white man, coming from the area that we come from, dudes like you help make dudes like me, because y'all showed me it was cool to just be me wherever I'm at, and I could fit in anywhere. Like
Look
a
at this
motherfucking
friendship.
glove,
Look
right?
at you. I mean,
Well,
30
brothers,
plus years.
brothers,
Brothers.
We do
Brothers.
anything for anybody.
Brothers, and
Each other, it's-
we say it all the time. There's plenty more of us.
We got a big ass family,
Yeah,
man.
for real.
Listen, man, it has been a fantastic show. I know we told y'all, a couple weeks ago when we did our last show that we did have a big surprise for you, and we did. So the problem is the show got canceled, all right? I am starting stand-up comedy in the city of Pittsburgh, guys. I was supposed to have a show on April 27th. Unfortunately, the bitches is tripping, and these motherfuckers dropped out, you punk motherfuckers. So guess what? Your boy's still going to do it. This shit ain't over. I'm going to let you guys know. We'll keep you posted. But I'm going to start doing open mics throughout this motherfucking city. I promise you, this podcast and this comedy thing, we are really going to do something with this, man. And we are going to make a difference, man. That's what we are going to do. Timmy, thank you
Thank
once
you
again,
so
my
much,
friend.
man.
It has
Thanks
been
for having
amazing.
me.
It's been
First coach came over. I'm the first
Yeah.
coach.
Dog,
hell
you were
yeah.
our first coach.
All right,
for
good.
sure.
Yeah,
There is
right.
no doubt.
I was worried. I was thinking about it. I was going to ask him to come over.
Well, you knew I've had your name on the list for a
Oh,
while.
for sure.
Hell
man.
yeah.
I tell
I'm
you,
so
Thank you.
happy
I
we did
truly
that.
enjoyed it. It's
It
great
was
to see you guys.
Great to
amazing
see you.
show. I mean, I hope y'all got a message out there, man, if you're listening. Cardi Bird, you got anything else, man?
No, man, I love y'all. You already know. Thanks for watching.
Hey, next week, I told you, man, we're back with a vengeance. I promise you, y'all gonna have something new every week, man. Peace out, y'all.
Have a good one.